a lot of different sections that we should be familiar with. The first division that we talked about is what? The sort of biggest division of hell is into what? What sections?
Animals. Some of the fraud. And
yeah, so fraud at the bottom.
No, it's fraud.
Violence in the middle, and at the top, concupiscence. Yes, sins of desire. Desire, especially desire that's out of control or for something.
Wait, time out.
Not supposed to.
Let's say you were at the fraud level.
Mm-hmm.
Did you stay there forever?
Well, so we'll see. Not in Canto 3, but in Canto 4, we'll see the souls getting assigned to their locations. Yes, these are permanent locations here. They get assigned to based on their sins in life. So here you get, here on 88, this is a good page to either fold a corner or bookmark or something. Because here we get the map of upper hell, the top division of it, incontinence or concupiscence. Incontinence means a lack of self-control. Lack of self-control is incontinence. Yes, yeah. So here, as opposed to violence or fraud, where you're actively trying to cause bad things, incontinence is a lack of self-control. These are sins of weakness. And we'll see the different sins here. So you see there, the dotted line is the path that Dante and Virgil will take. There are some landmarks that we'll see them pass. And then within each of the sections of hell, there are multiple circles where these major groups of sins are divided into subsections. So incontinence, sins of weakness. You see we have limbo, lust, gluttony, whoredom, and spendthrift. So the circles 2, 3, and 4 have to do with sex, food, and money. And then 5 is wrath or anger. But anyway, we're going to pass through a couple of the sections here in Canto 3. You see there's a river there. Anyway, we'll see lots of things. But keep this map in mind. We're not going to read about every single circle in hell, but we will read about some of them. Canto 3, page 89. As the two poets enter the vestibule that leads to hell itself, Dante sees the inscription above the gate, and he hears the screams of anguish from the damned souls. Rejected by God and not accepted by the powers of hell, the first group of souls are nowhere because of their cowardly refusal to make a choice in life. Their punishment is to follow a banner at a furious pace forever, and to be tormented by flies and hornets. The pilgrim recognizes several of these shades, but mentions none by name. Next, they come to the river Acheron, where they are greeted by the infernal boatman, Charon. Among those doomed souls who are to be ferried across the river, Charon sees the living man and challenges him. But Virgil lets it be known that his companion must pass. Then, across the landscape rushes a howling wind which blasts the pilgrim out of his senses, and he falls to the ground. So we'll start here right at the beginning. I am the way into the doleful city. I am the way into eternal grief. I am the way to a forsaken race. Justice it was that moved my great Creator. Divine omnipotence created me, and highest wisdom joined with primal love. Before me, nothing but eternal things were made, and I shall last eternally. Abandon every hope, all you who enter. I saw these words spelled out in somber colors inscribed along the ledge above a gate. Master, I said, these words I see are cruel. Just pause there quickly. We have here the gate, the entrance to hell. And what's the main idea of this inscription above it?
Like it explains.
Explains what?
Like what it is.
And what is it?
It's explains like how you get there and what happens.
Yeah, and what kind of things are those?
Their entirely refuses to make choices in life?
Just only looking at the first 9 lines here.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
What do we read about in these first 9 lines?
Like, wait, what was it?
What do we learn in the first 9 lines? This is the inscription here, these first 9 lines where it's in all caps. This is the inscription above the gate to hell. It's almost like a threat. What's being threatened? What's the threat here? Right. Don't have any hope. Why no hope? What's hope? It's different from faith, sort of connected to it. Well, what's hope? When we talk about hope, what are the kind of things that we hope for? You might hope for school to close. You hope for wealth, for health. Yeah, expectation. When we hope for something, this is something that hasn't happened yet, right? We hope for things in the future. I hope that my children will be healthy. A wish for the future. Why does the gate here to hell say abandon every hope? There's no way out. You go there, you're stuck. That's it. You're toast. Abandon every hope. And yet, what do we read about hell in the second set of 3 lines? Notice we've got 3 sets of 3 lines here above this gate to hell. 3 sets of 3. Dante loves these groups of 3s.
Is that why it goes instead of 5, 10, it goes 3, 6, 9, 12, 3 lines?
Yes, yeah. It's every 3 lines. Yep. And that's how Dante wrote in these 3-line sections. So what do we read about in that second set of 3 lines? What do we learn about hell? So not only do we learn that it's bad in the first part, we learn hell's bad. In the last 3 lines we read that it lasts forever, so you shouldn't have any hope. But in the middle 3 lines, what else do we learn about hell? Why? Yes, why was hell created? Justice. What else? Omnipotence, all-powerfulness. And what else? 2 more things. Wisdom and love. Hell was created out of justice, divine omnipotence, God's all-knowingness, created God, joined with wisdom and love. How is there love in hell? Yes, and notice Dante's response. What does Dante respond? How does he feel about this? He reads this, and what does he say to Virgil? Right there in line 12. These words are cruel. How is there love? How did love or wisdom create hell? Omnipotence, okay, we could see that. Right? All-knowing God, you can see how an all-knowing God could create hell.
Love for the wrong thing.
Wise God, love. So there are people here who love the wrong things. But here it's talking about God. This inscription talks about God's love creating hell. Notice Dante here at the beginning of his spiritual journey, he doesn't get this. He doesn't think this quite makes sense. He says it's cruel. It's unfair. It's mean. How could this be? Let's continue. Let's go to the next page. Virgil responds to Dante's statement that this is cruel. And Virgil says, he answered me, speaking with experience. Now here you must leave all distrust behind. Let all your cowardice die on this spot. We are at the place where earlier I said you could expect to see the suffering race of souls who lost the good of intellect. Placing his hand on mine, smiling at me in such a way that I was reassured, he led me into those mysteries. What does Virgil say? You must leave what behind?
Distrust.
Distrust. You need to trust me. You need to have faith, maybe, you could say. Don't be a coward. And he says, you'll see the suffering race of souls who lost the good of intellect. What do you mean when we're talking about the good of intellect?
Smart. The knowledge.
Right. Knowledge, our ability to think and understand, intellect. And these souls don't have that. They gave it up. Maybe we could say that Virgil's saying here to Dante, you don't understand how you could have love in hell, love creating hell. And he seems to say these souls don't understand it either. They gave up the proper use of their thinking, of their understanding. Say it again? No, that's purgatory. The people in hell are stuck. Purgatory, those people's sins are being burned away. They're being purified. But in hell, abandon every hope. The people in purgatory have hope because they know that things will change. Hell, no. All right. And then he leads me into these mysteries. It's like a religious initiation. The sacraments of the church are sometimes referred to as mysteries. All right, continuing, they're going to enter hell here, line 22. Here, sighs and cries and shrieks of lamentation echoed throughout the starless air of hell. At first, these sounds resounding made me weep. Tongues confused, a language strained in anguish with cadences of anger, shrill outcries and raucous groans that joined with sounds of hands, raising a whirling storm that turns itself forever through that air of endless black, like grains of sand swirling when a whirlwind blows. And I, in the midst of all this circling horror, began, Teacher, what are these sounds I hear? What souls are these so overwhelmed by grief? And he to me, this wretched state of being is the fate of those sad souls who lived a life but lived it with no blame and with no praise. They are mixed with that repulsive choir of angels, neither faithful nor unfaithful to their God, who undecided stood but for themselves. Heaven, to keep its beauty, cast them out, but even hell itself would not receive them, for fear the damned might glory over them. And I, Master, what torments do they suffer that force them to lament so bitterly? He answered, I will tell you in few words. These wretches have no hope of truly dying, and this blind life they lead is so abject it makes them envy every other fate. The world will not record their having been there. Heaven's mercy and its justice turn from them. Let's not discuss them. Look and pass them by. And so I looked and saw a kind of banner rushing ahead, whirling with aimless speed as though it would not ever take a stand. Behind it, an interminable train of souls pressed on, so many that I wondered how death could have undone so great a number. When I had recognized a few of them, I saw the shade of the one who must have been the coward who had made the great refusal. At once, I understood, and I was sure this was that sect of evil souls who were hateful to God and to his enemies. These wretches who had never truly lived went naked and were stung and stung again by the hornets and the wasps that circled them and made their faces run with blood in streaks. Their blood mixed with their tears dripped to their feet, and disgusting maggots collected in the pus. They first enter hell. What does it look like when they first enter hell? How does Dante describe hell? Starless. It's dark, but there are no stars. And what does he hear? He doesn't see anything at first. He hears these screams. Yes. And he asks Virgil, what's happening to these souls? Why are they screaming like this? And what do we learn? Rather, what did they do? They're overwhelmed by grief. Why are they so overwhelmed by grief, though? What does Virgil say in lines 34 to 42, really? But especially in 34 to 36. Right. Well, what are these people like in this next group after the gate of hell? What are they like? Lazy, maybe we could say. Repulsive. Who found them repulsive? Who liked these people? Or who didn't like these people? No, there are some angels mixed in here, though. What makes these people repulsive? What was their mistake? What was their failing? What was their sin? Right, they lived life with no blame. They didn't do anything particularly bad, but also with no praise. They didn't do anything good either. And he says they're mixed with the angels who, at the beginning of creation, when some of the angels rebelled against God, they didn't stay with God. They didn't turn against him. They just looked out for number one. And here in lines 40 to 42, heaven to keep its beauty cast them out, but even hell itself would not receive them. Here in, usually called the vestibule of hell, the entry room, the undecided, these people who didn't pick a side. Let's see how are they being punished for this sin of never picking a side? Sorry? Sorry, I can't.
They have to be left around that, man.
They have to be what? Like, yeah, they're following this banner. What are banners used for? What's a banner? What is a banner? Like a flag. What do we use flags for?
To mark
To mark stuff. What kind of stuff?
territory.
Territory. In older times, we might use them in battle. We still use them to show your political allegiance, right? You know, people fly American flags. They fly flags of other various countries. Ships will fly flags. These people who never chose a side in life, what are they running after? What are they chasing? And they are chasing something. They didn't in life, but here, what are they chasing? What are they running after? These souls here. They're chasing a flag. Why? A point of what?
A flag, but like a white flag.
We don't learn what kind of flag. What did they not do in their life?
Because they don't have a place in territory.
Right, they don't have a home. They don't have a territory. They weren't faithful to anything. Now they're running around chasing this banner, chasing after something. They don't even know what it is. What else? What else is part of their punishment here?
They never reach.
They never reach the flag, but there are also flies and wasps and hornets that are doing what to them? That are stinging them, making them bleed, and there's pus and maggots and blood all over the ground they're running on. And what else? What do we not learn about these souls here? Well, we see that they're there. What does Dante not tell us about them? Whom do we see here? Not what are they there for, but which people do we see here? Who are they? Or who were they? Say that again?
They were man. Assuming with who were.
Where are they from?
Akron?
Haven't gotten to Akron yet. Who are these people here? Dante says he recognizes some of them. Who are they? What are their names? Say it again? They're wretches. What are their names? Why not? Why don't you know their names? He doesn't tell us. He doesn't tell us their names. We recognize them. Dante recognizes them, but he doesn't tell us their names. And Virgil even says in line 49, the world will not record their having been there. No one's going to remember them. He says, let's not discuss them. Look and pass them by. I don't even want to talk about them. There's nothing noteworthy about them. They never did anything particularly good or bad. And so we're not even going to name them. Many of the souls that Dante comes across in hell, he names, but not these ones. They were hateful to God and to his enemies, we read in line 63. They're not even really in hell. All right, continuing. After we pass these guys, line 70. And when I looked beyond this crowd, I saw a throng upon the shore of a wide river, which made me ask, Master, I would like to know, who are these people? And what law is this that makes those souls so eager for the crossing, as I can see even in this dim light? And he, all this will be made plain to you as soon as we shall come to stop a while upon the sorrowful shore of Acheron. And I, with eyes cast down in shame, for fear that I perhaps had spoken out of turn, said nothing more until we reached the river. The Acheron is, from Greek mythology, is one of the rivers of the underworld. No, not yet. That's going to be a little bit later. Look at the blood. The Acheron, this first river here, and he's now going to meet this guy, Charon, who's another figure from Greek mythology. He's the boatman who leads souls into the underworld in Greek mythology. As we were talking yesterday about how Dante is blending Greek and Roman and Christian material here. So we have Acheron, one of these rivers from the underworld in Greek mythology, with Charon, who's he brings the souls across the river into the underworld in Greek mythology. And suddenly, 82, coming toward us in a boat, a man of years, whose ancient hair was white, shouted at us, "Woe to you, perverted souls! Give up all hope of ever seeing heaven. I come to lead you to the other shore, into eternal darkness, ice, and fire. And you, the living soul, you over there, get away from all these people who are dead." But when he saw I did not move aside, he said, "Another way. By other ports, not here shall you pass to reach the other shore. A lighter skiff than this must carry you." And my guide, Charon, this is no time for anger. It is so willed, there where the power is for what is willed. That's all you need to know. These words brought silence to the woolly cheeks of the ancient steersman of the livid marsh, whose eyes were set in glowing wheels of fire. But all those souls there, naked, in despair, changed color and their teeth began to chatter at the sound of his announcement of their doom. They were cursing God, cursing their own parents, the human race, the time, the place, the seed of their beginning, and their day of birth. Then all together weeping bitterly, they packed themselves along the wicked shore that waits for every man who fears not God. The devil Charon, with eyes of glowing coals, summons them all together with a signal, and with an oar he strikes the laggard sinner. As in autumn, when the leaves begin to fall one after the other until the branches witness to the spoils spread on the ground, so did the evil seed of Adam's fall drop from that shore to the boat, one at a time, at the signal, like the falcon to its lure. Away they go across the darkened waters, and before they reach the other side to land, a new throng starts collecting on this side. My son, the gentle master said to me, all those who perish in the wrath of God assemble here from all parts of the earth. They want to cross the river. They are eager. It is divine justice that spurs them on, turning the fear they have into desire. A good soul never comes to make this crossing. So if Charon grumbles at the sight of you, you see now what his words are really saying. He finished speaking, and the grim terrain shook violently, and the fright it gave me even now in recollection makes me sweat. Out of the tear-drenched land a wind arose, which blasted forth into a reddish light, knocking my senses out of me completely, and I fell, as one falls, tired, into sleep. So what happens here with this encounter with Charon at the river Acheron? What happens at the river Acheron? Who's there besides Charon? Who's at the river Acheron besides Dante and Virgil and Charon? Who else is there? Yes, people cursed by God. Why are they there? Why are they at the Acheron? What are they waiting to do? Cross the river into... Well, what's on the other side of the river? What's on the other side of the river? What are they going to? What are they there for? Justice. Okay, why? Why is justice sending them there? But why there? Why to this place? Why to the Acheron? Where are they going? Where are they going to end up? Why are these people here? Where are they going? They need to go to Charon. Why? Where is he going to bring them? No, that's not. But what? Where are they going? Who are these people here? Good souls never come there, so who are the souls that are there? Yes, they're going to... Yes! Charon here is going to bring them across the river into hell. We're not in hell quite yet. This entryway, remember, Dante said about these people that we saw before in line 41, but even hell itself would not receive them. So not quite in hell yet. So here, these souls are gathering on the shore, waiting for Charon to bring them across the river into hell. And Charon, how does Charon respond when he sees Dante, who's still alive? Normally that isn't what happened. Say it again? Charon doesn't what? Just tell them not to touch something. Yeah, he grumbles at him. He's like, right? He says, and you, living soul over there, get away from all these people who are dead. Another way, by other ports, shall you pass to reach the other shore. And Virgil points out, why is this a good thing? If Charon's getting grumpy with Dante, he's still alive, and what does that mean? If Charon doesn't want to bring him across, he doesn't belong in hell.
So let him go to purgatory.
Well, he's not dead yet, so he not yet doesn't belong in hell. And so the fact that Charon's grumbling at him should be reassuring. And yes, These souls, strangely enough, we would think they would really be fighting this trip into hell. But instead, Virgil tells us they want to cross the river. Line 124. They are eager. Justice spurs them on, turning the fear they have into desire. Yes, they're scared of it, but they also want it out of justice. Yes. All right. There's Canto 3. Dante's going to have to get into hell, across the river Acheron by some other means. And we'll see that in Canto 4 continue. Yes. All right. Questions, comments, concerns?
No Canto 3
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I meant to give that to you at the beginning. I'm so sorry. I had it here. I'm going to get it anyway.
Right, you gonna give it up?
Get it earlier. I'm sorry. I meant to give you guys this at the beginning, and you could have followed along with us. Here we go. Here we go.
I was about to say again, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I thought I had already passed them out. I try to get them before, because then you can work on them as we're reading it. Yes.